episode of Men Operating in Reality. Alright, guys, this episode, I want to talk about why I'm going to do a reaction video to this video I saw. Women realize that divorcing a husband was a huge mistake and make a lesson point as to why women are not able to lead the household. Alright, before we get started, if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know next time I drop. And if you're interested in helping grow this page monetarily, you can donate to my Cash App and PayPal. It'd be much appreciated. All right, let's get started. And again, like I said, I'm doing a reaction video to this. This woman, I'm not sure if this is her page. I just found this video randomly, actually. Divorced her husband, and it goes to teaching point where why women are not able to lead the household and what happens when the gender switch roles, when the man becomes a house husband and the woman becomes the breadwinner. All right, let's get started.
Of advice for divorce, it would be to not do it under normal circumstances. If your spouse is beating you or threatening you or your children, then of course, get out and fast.
Before we really get into it, I totally agree with that. The only reason I would advocate for divorce is if the spouse, and that's man or woman, are threatening you and the children. If you guys are getting threatened, you need to get out fast. All right, let's go.
In my case, there was no abuse. We were together for 8 years. That was mostly good. And we have 4 kids. Right around 5 years, I got a promotion at work, and I got it in my head that my ex-husband was dragging me down, or at least holding me back from more success and a better life. We never had a lot of money, but with my promotion, I was now making more than he was. I started working longer hours, and at the same time, his hours were cut, so he was at home more. I really began to resent him because he was home and because he got to spend time with our kids.
Before I get going, you see what happened there? You see why when the roles got switched, women resented the man because he's able to stay at home. They think staying at home, first of all, when they think a woman stays at home, they think it's a job. So when they actually work a job that creates more money and they get stay away from the family, and the husband is with the kids and all that stuff, then they get jealous. Let's continue.
Most nights when I got home, they were already getting ready for bed, if not already sleeping. After a few months of my new job, it was clear to me that things were not going well at home without me there. Some nights the dishes weren't done when I got home, or the kids hadn't eaten, or whatever else I could think of to be mad at him about. It really didn't matter. He kept saying that he would try harder, but that it was hard being home all the time. That always made me really mad.
Before we continue with the video, you can see right there, for a man, it's hard for him being at home. He doesn't know, not necessarily doesn't know, but he's not used to doing the house chores and stuff like that, taking care of the children like that. You know what I'm saying? The woman, she's able to take care of the children, be nurturing the children throughout the day, while the man, he has the strength, the mental fortitude to be out in the world and to take in all that pressure so he can provide for the family. Let's continue.
Next couple years, things kept getting worse. My hours weren't any shorter and his were on and off full time. There was no convenient time for him to be working full time because of my hours, but we also needed the money. Whenever he would tell me that he could get extra hours, I would always complain. And the less hours he worked, the more I complained that he wasn't bringing in enough money.
And the reason why she complaining is because women are not built to handle stress and being the breadwinner. Women aren't built for that. I'm sorry, women. I'm sorry. Y'all want to be leader of the household. You're not built for that. What's the thing that women like to say? They say that sometimes they don't want to be superwoman all the time. Well, women don't overstand, and they want us to be Clark Kent, or they want us to be Superman. Women overstand Superman, Clark Kent is Superman. There is no turning off being Superman. He's Superman 24/7. Clark Kent is actually the mask. You know what I'm saying? And the same with Supergirl or Superwoman. Because those are actually, or at least with Supergirl. With Supergirl, she's actually Supergirl. Her name is Kara, yeah. But she's not Kara of Earth. She is Supergirl, and she stays Supergirl. She can't turn it off. And neither is being Superman. So when women try to take the man's role, they get tired because they think it's hard. Men, we get used to that. We get used to all the shame and tactics. We get used to all the attacks. We get used to all the hard work because that's what we know we're supposed to do. We're built for that. Women are not. So when the roles are switched and they think the man's being lazy, she gets mad and resentful. Let's continue.
Whenever he brought up the contradiction, I would tell him that he needed to figure it out. I knew that it would bother him, so I started saying that a lot and for everything that I could. I really started to resent him and I pulled away from him. I knew that it was hurting him, but I didn't care. If he didn't want to be hurt, then he would at least try to make me happy. I used that same thing to justify when I started to talk to another guy at work. I thought he was just a friend, but talking at work turned into texting at home, and then pictures and videos, and then trying to sneak some alone time with him. I knew that it was wrong, but it made me feel so alive, and my husband had not made me feel like that in years.
And that's another reason why these women can't lead the household. They think too much on their emotion. Look how when she started becoming the breadwinner, she started stepping out. Women don't realize how worse that is when they cheat than compared to men. Because a woman can break up a family to be with that man. When she cheats with another man, it's emotion attached to it. So she can break up the home. The man, as long as the man doesn't get the woman pregnant and have a child with her, him cheating is not going to matter. Because he'll still come back home, take care of the family, and make sure you guys are safe. But when the woman cheats, it leads to destruction of the home. Let's continue.
I was tired of being unhappy, and I was doing this for me. The worst was the night I came home at a reasonable time and found that he had cleaned the whole house, cooked the whole family dinner, and picked out a movie for all of us to watch together. This would have made me swoon a couple years earlier, but that night I couldn't even look at him, and I pretended to be sick. I spent the rest of the night in bed while he waited on me and checked on me and even made me different food and brought it to me in bed. It made me feel terrible, and then it made me angry that he made me feel that way. And by the end of...
And watch out for women that say he made me feel that way. Like, women will say that stuff to take out accountability and place it on you. He didn't make you feel a damn thing. She felt it on her own because she was ashamed of herself. I have a friend going through that same situation. He keeps telling her how he feel about what she doing, and she's like, "You making me feel uncomfortable." Like, bitch. Yeah, let's continue.
Of the night, I was texting with the other guy. Over the next month or two from that night, it did not matter what he did. He was wrong just for breathing most days. He would get so upset with how I was treating him, and I would just wait and egg him on into losing it because I knew it would happen eventually. After most of the fights we had, he would apologize for whatever I told him he did wrong, if there even was something. But I never did. I would usually find a way to make him feel even worse. I knew that I was right because he was wrong, and that was all that mattered to me. I even pretended that I didn't care when he found out about my relationship with the guy from work. It really destroyed me inside to see him holding back tears, but I wasn't going to let him see that. He was at his weakest, and that was when I chose to tell him that I wanted a divorce.
And another thing, women have this weird ass conception that they have to make a man feel weak in order for them to feel strong. And that make no sense at all. Women, you are actually weak. And we ain't talking about emotional. Emotional don't mean emotional, whatever, emotional intelligence, whatever they want to call it, emotional intelligence, emotional work or whatever, emotional whatever. All that is modern stuff because our society is more comfortable now. If we was in the woods, we didn't want to care about no emotional stuff. You wouldn't care about how it made you feel. I would let you know because we're running from a lion or a wolf or a bear. But now we want to be like, oh, I got him at his weakest. Now I'm going to tell him we had divorce. Because she was mad at him. Because she wanted to make the more money. She wanted to be the head of the household. She wanted to be the breadwinner. And she didn't like that job. And she got mad at him for taking her role. And men, this is why you cannot be a husband. You can't do that. Because this is what happens. Every household. That's what happens when the woman takes the lead. Let's continue.
I could almost hear his heart shattering inside his chest. He talked and fought and said that we could work through it together. I really wasn't interested in fixing our marriage, but I mostly ended things with the other guy, but only because I knew I could get it back if I wanted it. I could see that he was trying, and occasionally I would let him know, but for the most part, I kept being a huge to him for any and all reasons that I could think of. I'm not sure how much more the man could have done to make me happy besides finding a job that paid enough for me to not have to work at all.
And men, this is why we say you have to get your money up. People want to say, oh, you leave with your money, you got to have money in order to get women. That's not the case. You have to get your money up because women want luxury. They don't want to be comfortable. They don't want, because honestly, an average man making $50,000 a year is good enough to provide and protect for a woman. However, women want luxury. They don't want to work. They don't want to do nothing. And I don't mean work. I don't mean be a housewife. I just mean nothing. They don't want to sit around, be waited on hand and foot. They want to take trips whenever they want to. They want to buy extravagant things. They want extravagancy. They want luxury. They don't want comfortability. They don't want an average man, because the average man can give them comfortability. But a man with six figures, like they love to say, those are the ones they're going after because they can provide luxury. And that's what women want. And that's why she said she wanted a man that could make more money than her, because she didn't want to work that much. She wanted to cut down the hours. She wanted the man to make more money so she could be at home more. Let's continue.
He said that he was looking, but looking and finding are two different things. I started saying awful things to him and even outright ignoring him. I was so confident with mine and everyone else's opinion that I contacted a lawyer and within a couple weeks had filed for divorce. It went pretty smoothly. The ex-husband didn't ask for much besides to not get divorced and to try to work it all out. I didn't care about that though. He was broken, but I was free. I could do whatever I wanted without having to feel any guilt or answer to anybody. It was an amazing feeling of freedom. It didn't last long though. In the first month after he moved out, I missed garbage day 3 times. There was also rarely a single clean dish, and the laundry sat in piles so long that I had to start doing the sniff test to see if it could be worn again. I also never saw my kids more miserable. My oldest had seen some of the messages from the other guy months earlier, and she knew that the ex-husband still wanted to try to work it out. It didn't take her long to stop talking to me at all, except to say that she wanted to go to my ex-husband's house. The others all told me they wanted to live with the ex-husband too. I did my best to try to make them happy, but I ended up just buying them toys all the time. and the happiness only lasted minutes. I also was having a lot of trouble with work. Being alone, I couldn't work all those extra hours that I was expected to. I finally gave in and started calling the ex-husband to watch the kids. He would always come over as soon as he could, and he always asked me if I needed anything.
And that's what women don't realize. You need to couple up with somebody in order to survive in this world. Men, however, are disposable. So we have to do things alone. We don't want to do things alone. We have to do things alone. Because there's a lot of times where we can't even get ourselves a woman. We can't get ourselves a woman. Look how the dating market is now. So men have to do things alone. So that's the reason why men get so many accolades for doing things by themselves. Because in this world, you have to couple up. With women, you can get yourself a man no matter what. But women choose to try to do things alone, and they don't realize how actually hard it is to do things by yourself. Men, we have to do it because nobody cares about men. We are disposable. So whenever something happens, whenever we lose our money, whenever we get homeless, nobody cares. But if a man can come up from the ashes, from being homelessness, from being down and out, and come back and make it up top, he has to do it alone unless he builds up a great team. And a lot of times the team don't come in until he's built something for himself, at least a little something. Yeah, he had to build something by himself at least before people were interested in helping him out. But with women, they get all the help they think they need, and they think that weakens them. But they don't realize that when they get out on their own, the world is stronger than them. And not even just her as being as a woman, I mean just human beings. So when you're actually fighting against the world, it's going to beat you down. So that's why it's best to couple up. And when women don't realize, when they divorce their husbands, they lose a lot of extra help, protection, and time. Let's continue.
When I would get home, I would find clean dishes and laundry and even dinner sometimes. He would never say too much after I got home. He would just say to call him if I needed anything, and then he would leave. One night, he took out the garbage and brought it to the curb because it was garbage night, and I forgot again. He always looked so sad when it was time to go. Finally, after a couple months, my friends convinced me to go out on a date. It was for dinner and a movie, and I was excited and hopeful. But at dinner, I started getting a feeling of overwhelming guilt. It got so bad that I ended up not even going to the movie. A week and about 1,000,000 tears later, I was on a therapist's couch. I told her everything that had happened, starting with the promotion that I got at work. She did not agree with me or with any of the encouragement to divorce that I got. I ended up in her office 2 and sometimes.
That's also another thing. Single women make women single. So if she got a single friend and she keeps telling her, oh, you need to divorce that dude, you need to divorce that dude, she's making a big mistake. And you as a man, you as a husband, you got to make sure to get that friend away from her. For real, for real. Because she's going to lead her to devastation. Let's continue.
3 times a week. And the more that I talked to prove that I was right, the more that I started to see how wrong I was. It was truly heartbreaking. I don't know if I cried as much in my whole life as I did in the first months in her office. After about $2,000 of therapy sessions, I learned that my ex-husband had his faults, but I figured out that mine were so much worse. I did so many awful things and said awful things that I wouldn't want to be with me, but he did. I still remember him asking me in the meeting with the lawyer to please not go through with it. I did go through with it though. And then later I bragged on here how great it felt. I was so wrong, and now I can see it. A couple weeks ago, I went outside with him when he was leaving the house. I asked him about getting back together. When he looked at me, his eyes were full of tears, and a couple went down his cheeks. He told me that he didn't know if he could. He said that the pain has been too much for too long, and that if we got back together, that I might just turn around and do it to him again. He said that he always thought that I would realize how much he loved me and stop up until I signed the divorce papers and let out a big, over-exaggerated sigh of relief. He said that hurt him more than anything else, and that he doesn't know if he can ever trust me again. I don't blame him. I destroyed a man who, looking back, was a great husband. I deprived my kids of having a great father in the house with them, and I took his kids away from him. And me, the one who pushed for the divorce, expecting happiness and a life of freedom, spend all my free time sitting at home or sitting on a therapist's couch. If your marriage is bad, look at yourself first and see if you can make changes. This is advice for men and women. Getting divorced is not fun. Being divorced is not fun. And seeing your husband broken and your children never happy because of your actions is the most painful experience that I can imagine. I wish all of you well and hope that you will give your marriages a second chance.
All right. So we're going to end it like this. This is why women should not lead the household, because when they start to get more money than the man, they start to resent the man. Because the man, he's not providing a life of luxury, because women don't like to work that hard. They don't like to work that hard. So when she starts working too hard, she's going to start getting mad at you. And then she's going to find another man. It happens every time. She's going to find another man at her job that's a lot more interesting, that's having a lot better life. He's doing a lot of things, traveling, yada, yada, whatever. Because the man she marries, life is boring, quote unquote. She's going to try and date. She's going to cheat on with this guy. She's going to cheat with this guy. Then eventually she's going to divorce. She's going to divorce you. You're probably going to have 2-3 children. She's going to divorce you for the other guy. The other guy's going to be a piece of shit. She's going to get mad. She's going to divorce you. She's going to get mad. She's going to live a life of chaos. Any woman that does that shit ends up living a life of chaos. Because she ended a pure thing for something so arbitrary as she's working too hard. She's not happy. So she living this life of chaos while you as a man, you got to pick up the pieces. If you're able to pick up the pieces, you can come back like a phoenix. And then when you come back like a phoenix and able to take care of your job, that's when she wants to come back when her life is ruined and broken and be like, can we get back together? They always do this. They always do this. And this is why I say, man, you got to avoid this altogether. Don't even marry them. Don't even try and date them. Don't waste your time with them. Because it's going to end just like this. They think they're better than you. Then when they lose, when they lose out on a relationship that was a marriage with children, they find out how hard it is to actually be like us. All right, guys. I appreciate you guys checking me out. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know next time I drop. As well as, if you want to support, you can support monetarily. Send to my Cash App and PayPal. It'd be much appreciated. All right, guys. Peace.
Can it